Hello, welcome to Ancient Astrology with Sam and Verity.
Hi, I'm Sam Bakewell.
And I'm Verity Hibbs. And today for episode 25, we will be looking at Firdaria.
Yeah, so we've just finished, the last episode was on perfections, and we were telling you that perfections is a Time Lord system that can stand all on its own. However, it works a lot better with the Firdaria Time
Yes.
Lord system, and I think a lot of people don't realize that, they've kind of dropped the Firdaria. And it really is Robert Zola's teaching that, students that have come from him that will use the perfections and Firdaria.
Yeah.
Okay, so the word Firdaria means period. The original word was from the Greeks, meaning period, but it's been distorted because astrology went from the Greeks to the Persians to Arabic and then Latin. So, so the word's changed a few times. But if you're looking for it in the different writings like Abu Mashar and Al Brunei, you'll find that they'll have Fardar or they'll have Al Fardar. So if you're interested in researching, have a look at those authors. And so it's a division of the seven visible planets using the Chaldean order and the north and south nodes. So the Chaldean order starts from Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and lastly, the Moon. So what you need to know is have a good understanding of your natal chart.
Yes, definitely.
And so you want to aspect your chart, know your dignities and debilities, and use it with perfections. So with diurnal charts, the first 10 years is ruled by the Sun. And for nocturnal charts, the sequence starts with the Moon, which rules for the first 9 years. And it's after 75 years, once you've gone through the sequence from the Chaldean order, starting with the Sun for diurnal and the Moon for nocturnal, you start the sequence all over again. And we'll show you, we'll have some examples shortly for you. And there's always a discrepancies with different techniques, and the Firdaria is no different. And some people will use Mars after Mars in a nocturnal chart. They'll use the north node and the south node. So I started off learning that actually, and so at age 39, the north node will rule till 42, and then the south node will rule from 42 to 44 in the nodal variation. However, I don't use that. I started off using that, but I don't use that anymore, just from experience.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I use on the Solar Fire program, it's called Al Brunei and Shuna version, where the nodes are at the end of the Chaldean order, the same as diurnal charts. So I might just put, so let's just talk about how long each planet rules for. So the Sun will rule for 10 years, and Venus for 8, Mercury for 13, the Moon for 9, Saturn for 11, Jupiter for 12, Mars for 7, the North Node for 3, and the South Node for 2 years. And it is a subdivision of, and there is a subdivision, so the planet will rule for a length of time, and then we have these sub periods. We're bringing in the other planets. So all the planets are divided by 7, which will produce or provide you with the sub period.
Yeah, so it'll be like a Jupiter time frame, but then it will also be ruled by another planet at the same time.
So like Jupiter will rule. So if we divided Jupiter's time, so 12 years divided by 7, we get 1.714285,714.
Yeah.
And so this will give us a subdivision of Jupiter. So after a year and 7 months and 14 days, we'll start, the next planet will come in, and that will be Mars.
Yeah.
And then that will rule for that length of time, roughly, you
Yeah.
know, because we haven't considered hours and minutes and seconds into that equation. So solar fire does all that for us.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It definitely makes it a lot faster to be able to look at these.
Oh,
It would have
we're
taken a
very
really
fortunate
long
that we don't
time.
have to do all these mathematical
No.
equations like the ancients used to. Yeah. So the governing planet and the sub-periods are important time lords and should be considered when viewing the natives' movements. So you want to consider where the lord and sub-lord are located in the horoscope. So what does the planet naturally signify, and what does it signify in the chart?
Yes.
So it'll be through like the nature of the planet, the location, the houses it rules, the condition of the planet, and the aspects it makes. So let's put up a example. Okay, so here we have our diurnal sequence. So we'll read it out aloud because some of you might be listening to us while you're driving.
Yeah.
I often listen to my podcast while I'm driving. Or you might be going for a walk and you don't want to keep having a look at your screen. So the diurnal sequence starts with the sun from 0 to 10 years, and Venus, followed by Venus for 10 to age 10 to age 18. Mercury from age 18 to 31, the moon from 31 to 40, Saturn from 40 to 51, Jupiter 51 to 63, Mars from 63 to 70, North Node 70 to 73, and South Node 73 to 75. So the nocturnal sequence starts with the moon and is up to age 9, so 0 to 9, and Saturn 9 to 20, Jupiter 20 to 32, Mars from 32 to 39, the Sun from 39 to 49, Venus 49 to 57, Mercury 57 to 70, and North Node 70 to 73, and the South Node 73 to 75.
So yeah, the nocturnals definitely have the malefics closer, like at the beginning of their years, don't they? Like in their younger years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with our diurnal chart, we have our malefic of Set from 63 to 70.
Yes.
And for our diurnal, nocturnal, we have Saturn, and is our malefic of Sect, and it's from 9 to 20.
Oh, but at least you don't know about astrology when you're going through that, because sometimes people sort of dread malefic planet timeframes coming up.
Yeah, where if you've learning astrology, you probably would have started studying before you were 63. So
yes,
if you're a diurnal chart, have a diurnal chart, you'll start to get a bit worried, depending on what your Mars is doing and where it's located and what have you. Like
and even the Saturn time frame. Even though people, with diurnal, it's not their malefic of Sect, it can still mean, hardships or more responsibility, things like that coming up for them.
Yeah.
But especially then the Mars as well coming up. Whereas I guess nocturnal, like you and I are both nocturnal charts. So we went through our malefic of Sect very young.
Yeah.
But at least we didn't know at the time. And it probably did feel like hard things happened and it was completely out of your control,
especially when you have, both of us have an opposition with that Saturn. So we have actually no control over those issues.
That's right.
And for me, it was definitely a difficult time. And having a lot of problems with a lot of different things. Because of course, you've got different areas, so, and I have an opposition with Mercury, and the Sun opposes Saturn.
Well, one example for me would have been probably every best friend I had, my whole childhood moved away, especially when I was at school.
Perfect.
Every single friend. And then another one would come and then they'd move away again. And it was just like
you have Saturn that is located in the 11th house.
So that's one example of it was just crazy how often that happened. It was So yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, and especially being a child, you
But
don't really
because
have
your
control
Saturn
anyway.
is in rulership,
Mm,
it's quite an honest way of it playing
that's very
out,
true.
right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been worse. Yeah.
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 So we're going to, with our perfections episode, we looked at Ben Affleck's. So let's put up his chart so that
Yeah.
so that the viewers have his chart in front of them.
Hmm.
So we'll start with the natal chart.
Yes. So we did look at this last episode, but it's good just to
Yeah,
refresh it, or not
revisit it.
everyone's watching the episodes in order and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
exactly. So for the people that are listening, let's have a look at, or we'll go through where the planets are. And his ascendant is 8 degrees Cancer,
Hmm.
and he has Venus tightly conjunct that at 7 degrees in Cancer, of course.
Hmm.
And his second house is ruled by Leo, and he has Mercury and the Sun in that house. And then he has Mars in the third house in Virgo, and Libra for the fourth house, Moon in Scorpio in the fifth house in its early degrees at 4 degrees, and Jupiter in Sagittarius retrograde in the sixth house, then Capricorn ruling the seventh, Aquarius ruling the eighth, Pisces ruling the ninth. The 10th is Aries and Taurus for the 11th, and Gemini for the 12th. And
Mm.
Saturn is in Gemini in that 12th house. So
Mm.
and so naturally,
Yeah.
we have already spoken
Yes.
about his lords of his ascendant, which
Hmm.
is the moon and Jupiter. And we have also spoken about his Venus. And we've just, summarized it. It's been very brief. So, okay, now, and so what we're looking at here today will be, because I'm going to put up his Firdaria.
Yes.
So we've got a lovely Sun Jupiter trine, and the
Yeah.
Sun is in the first house. In the sixth house, it rules, Jupiter rules the ninth house, and the first house, obviously, by exaltation. So
Mm.
it is him,
Yeah.
and it's in a masculine sign, so that's really significant also. It's an applying aspect to the sun, and the sun also will rule the 10th house by exaltation, and in the sign of Leo. So we don't have to look at
Mm.
too many houses because we've got two planets that are in rulership. So
Yeah.
we can actually it's a very tight dialogue. It really
Yes.
does say his career. He makes things happen with his career. He will win awards, have accolades with this Jupiter Sun. So you would expect these great things and lots of money
Mm.
to manifest during his Jupiter or Sun time frame,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And really, if I was a Hollywood producer or screenwriter or whatever, I would be jumping on this anything that he does
Yes.
because he's just going to make money and he's going to elevate other people as well.
Yes.
All right, so now let's have a look at
Yeah, it's
his
amazing to
Firdaria.
look at people who are successful in those ways. And
Yeah,
when you look at their chart and you can see it like that with the Jupiter and Sun, it's
yeah,
really amazing.
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly.
the Firdaria time. So we'd be looking
So
at when it's Sun or Jupiter.
the
Mm.
sun really is the main player in that
Mm.
because the sun is in a succeedant house.
Hmm.
So I just wanted to have a look at
Oh yeah, the
so
dates of them.
the
Yeah.
dates exactly. So the success of 1997's Good Will Hunting, which Affleck co-wrote
Wow.
and acted in, marked a turning point in his career. So 1997, I did a little bit of research, and the filming took place between April and June 1997, which would have been age 24 for him.
Mm.
So he was in his first house by perfection. So he has Venus there, he has the moon and Jupiter. So there's three planets. So this was starting his his great success, I suppose. And because we've got a hard copy here.
23.4 he moved in.
Yeah, and he was in his Jupiter Sun time frame, and from 23.4, so from 19th of January 1996,
Yeah.
and to the 6th of October 1997, at age 25 and 1.1. So so the film received acclaim from critics and grossed over 225 million during the theatrical run against a 10 million budget.
Wow.
So he also won, because you would expect that he would win awards, and even the movie, if it's got his name on it, the movie would win awards. So it won from the 70th Academy Awards. It won Best Supporting Actor and Best Original Screenplay for Ben Affleck and Damon.
That's
Damon.
amazing. Matt Damon.
Matt
Yeah.
Damon?
Yeah. That's amazing.
And but was up for like 9 Academy Awards or something like that.
And so because the awards happen a little bit after a movie is released, but he would have been in a Jupiter Venus timeframe from October that year, 97. So that as well is a really nice time frame for him, isn't it?
Oh, it's lovely.
In his first house, it's Venus, it's still Jupiter, it's still,
Yeah.
So even that as well,
Yeah,
it's
so
like
that's
just carried on being great.
That would be romance, and but it's a sun and Jupiter which helps him to win awards.
Awards and
that's
recognition.
to do with the 10th house, right? So age 24, he was already in a good area, because amazing. Jupiter is connecting to the sun. So there was that dialogue happening as well for him, and then he goes into the following year, age 25, he goes into, so that would have been when all the awards started to happen for him. So he's in another sun year.
Yeah.
So between age 39.
Yes, exactly, because the house he's got his sun there in Leo, which
so,
is also rulership with the connection to Jupiter.
So 39 to 49, he's in these sun years. So you would expect that this would be a fantastic time for his financial growth and for winning awards and other things. So what happens with these planets is that between this time frame, when a planet rules, so like Jupiter rules for 12 years and the sun's going to rule for 10 years. For that 10 years, everything the chart signifies about the sun is going to manifest. Right? And then you have these sublords which will come in, and they are really significant also. But like so when he was in his Jupiter, so he was still 25 when he went into that first month of age. No, so he is August, right? Oh, so he had a couple of months where he went into his perfection by the sun, with the Jupiter sun. And then he was in a perfection sun year, right?
That would have been probably when they were promoting the movie. And
so this would have been a very significant time, because you have 2 Time Lords saying the same thing.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. So take special note of those sort of times as well.
Yeah, that would have been really good.
Yeah. So we would have expected that he did very well financially during that time. I didn't look at his romantic side. I was just looking at his career, but I just thought it was interesting.
He's had a very interesting life. Like, I think amazing achievements like that, and also, I think in other aspects of life, like ups and downs, as most people do, you know. But it's just interesting to see how that is reflected in the chart. And what a significant moment for him to come.
So just so you have a view of the Firdaria, because we started talking about Ben Affleck, and and then you start to get very sidetracked with the technique. So when I was learning how to do this, I mean, of course, I was still within that first year of learning astrology, and your Time Lords come at the end of your foundation course. So, we were told to write a biography of a native life.
Great idea.
Yeah, so you can do that yourself, and you can do that for somebody that you don't know, or
just like the significant events.
yeah, and it was somebody I didn't know.
Yeah.
So this is really helpful to understand, how the Firdaria works, because, these times are significant for the native and what they will be going through. And so when we migrated when I was 2, and so we had a Jupiter Saturn time frame. So they would have been, my family probably were trying to leave the country and do all that kind of paperwork during that time. And I would have been in my second house, so it would have been Aries. And so we have Mars and the Sun.
Yeah.
And so this would have been important for my father, important time for my father. So we can go through that kind of thing. I mean, I haven't got my parents here to ask, all these, which I have done in the past anyway. What has happened, and was my grandfather there? Blah blah blah. Because he's also Saturn rules grandparents. So you have to also bring in the nature of the planet and what the planet means, not just what it represents in the chart. So always remember, the nature of the planets. And basically, all we're doing is looking at the houses that the planet rules.
Yes.
And starting to jot down some information about the native, and you'd be very surprised, how this sort of all will manifest for you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it really can just highlight, like, I think some charts can have a lot going on sometimes. Even if you just look at one perfection house, it can be a lot. So if you look at the Firdaria as well, it can kind of highlight, well, for example, Mars and the Sun are actually going to be really key players for this time frame.
Yeah.
So that can help.
I know that every time that I've gone into a Sun time frame with Firdaria or with perfection, I get asked to speak, in public. Do a workshop, with the FAA group. So, those sort of things happen.
Yes.
People recognize you, and they, depending on whether you've got where your sun is placed,
Yes,
like if
it's
it's
not
sixth
always
house,
what I mean.
then it will be a different. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're not all Ben Affleck.
No. No. But yeah, how it plays out for your chart.
Yeah, and look at your benefic of sect. Those time frames. They're great time frames to have some good fortune and good luck and whatever it represents in your natal chart. For me, I've got Venus is my benefic of sect, and it's in Virgo. So I always feel like my time frames with Venus is a real letdown.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because like I still will do something creative, or I'll get my index, the bookmarks. That's what I did one year, to do the bookmarks. And so they're all very small things,
your
but
jewelry that you make is amazing.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Yeah.
You do a good job at it. But I know what you mean. It's not like,
so it's not like
potentially
always, fantastic for those with the benefic of sect, but it's still a good time frame.
Yeah.
And for those people who have, like for me, I had my Mars time frame, which was from 32 to 39. This was a great sporting time for me, and Mars is in my sixth house, so it was work. I started working again, after having my children, and I was only working part-time, but I was also doing a lot of sport. So I was training for about 3 or 4 hours a day.
That's amazing.
After dropping the kids off, walking, running, playing softball or netball, and then going to the gym. I was just this crazy person. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that time frame. So yeah, I mean, go back also, on your life and what happened 12 years ago, or what happened last time you were in those time frames, with whatever planet you're looking at. And that will be a clue also if you can't work it out in your natal chart. So
okay. I think that's great.
All right, that's it for the Firdaria episode.
Mm.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you so much.
Don't forget to like and subscribe,
Yes.
and we'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Thank you.
bye.